How do we raise kids that respect guidance without becoming afraid to trust their own decisions? If you're a parent, mentor, or caregiver, stay with me. Today, Grace and I are talking about something that I believe a lot of families struggle with but don't have the words to talk about: the difference between guiding our kids and controlling their lives. And we're doing it through one of the entries of Diary of a Parent, available on Amazon, and with the lovely, lovely company of my daughter, Grace.
Hi guys.
I have to tell you, this will be probably one of the last videos that she'll be here. In a while, she'll be back. We'll find time, we'll adjust schedule, but she's starting school next Monday, so she's gonna be busy recording her own stuff, building her own stuff, so a lot of good things coming up. How you feel?
I'm excited. A little nervous, it's a lot of new things coming at once, but honestly, I'm really excited overall.
And I'm excited for her. Now let's get into the video.
Mhm.
Okay. Today we are reading, I think it's 205. Go ahead, I'm trying to find it. It's called Waiting for Permission to Breathe.
You have your book or the ebook, day 205. Some teens aren't indecisive. They're just scared to move without a green light from the whole village. In some homes, especially a tight-knit or traditional ones, obedience is confused with its identity. You're not just expected to respect your family, you're expected to shape your life around their approval, even at 18. It's not because their parents are cruel, it's often because they were taught the same thing. Don't risk, don't question, don't disappoint. But here's the truth. Love without freedom isn't love. It's control dressed in flowers, pretty on the outside, suffocating on the inside. And what happens when a child grows up in that kind of garden? They stop trusting their own yes. They second guess their no. And when the moment comes to choose a relationship, a dream, or even a new idea, they wait too long. They wait for the uncles, the aunts, the cousins, the abuelitas to approve. They wait so long that they forget. You don't need permission to breathe.
What do you think this entry was actually about?
Like overall? I was gonna say you don't need your parents' approval because that just sounds like, know. But that's not like what I meant. Because yes, you do, but at the same time, you have to have your own life. You have to have your own decisions, and you have to make your own life. You can't just revolve it around other people being scared of what they might think.
Okay, we're definitely going on the right path. A little rough, but we'll get to it. Now, any sentence that stood out?
They stop trusting their own yes.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
What do you think that looks in real life like when you stop trusting your own yes?
Maybe you want to start something new and you're like, oh yes, I want to do that. But then you think about the people in your life that might say no to it, and you're like, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's the perfect, clear example. And this is not only on teenagers, this is on adults. We do it all the time if we're honest enough to admit it. We say, yeah, we don't care about people will say, yet we don't follow what we want to follow. We don't post what we want to post. We don't go towards working our dreams. We always find an excuse, right? But if we're honest enough, we realize that we all do this. Now, do you think teenagers can become so used to asking for permission that they stop just actually working towards something?
That they ask so much for permission that they just forget about their own ideas?
Yeah, like for example, and you don't have to give personal examples in here, right? If you want to, go ahead. But a lot of teenagers would just, something will come to their mind and they will feel that yes in their hearts and in their minds, but they either never were taught how to say, how to move with their yes, how to act on their yes, or they just were taught that everything needs to be run through the family. And instead of saying, you know what, this is what I want to do, and present something to the parents, they just say, what do you think about this? And they immediately go with the no or the yes. What do you think?
I mean, all the time. I mean, a lot of teenagers will want to do fun stuff with their parents, or just by themselves, or they want to go out by themselves. I just remember now, it's all coming back to me. But the parents will say no, no, and the constant no will keep them going back So they just kind of forget about it. And also for me, I feel like I've done that, but like I feel like, I'm sorry, this kind of feels out of touch, but like all my life, like you guys have always been so open, like so open to everything that I say. Like even when I was little, you guys would say, yes, let's do that. Yes, let's do that. Or like even now, like they'll be like, oh yeah, like what do you think? And they'll give me criticism if they think something is like a little, oh, you know, but it's not like they just push it away. Like, no, I don't want to hear that. Like, no, like that is not a thing in our family. Like I've never heard that in my life. And I know a lot of teenagers have. Like, I know a lot of teenagers get no for something that should be a yes, even if it's not bad, you know?
My first question is, you hit a lot of good points. First question is, why do you think that's out of touch? You say, I'm sorry, this is out of touch.
Because I'm an only child, and people think that only child are like spoiled and they get everything that they want and stuff. And a lot of teenagers don't get that privilege. Even if like you're an only child, maybe it's different for you, but like a lot of teenagers don't have that privilege of like parents that are actually willing to listen and say yes to things that you genuinely love.
But this is not about only child. This is about parenting.
Yeah.
And I'll be talking about only child in a video coming soon. But and I would love to have maybe Brandy, if you're watching, since you have 4 girls, right?
Yeah.
I would love to have the contrast of an only child versus a family, a bigger family, because I think there's a bigger conversation, not just your only child and you're spoiled. It's how we parent that will answer that question. She says something very, very, very good. She says she has never heard a no from us, which is a lie. But she also said that we do give her feedback, but it's true. That is something that we consciously do every day. She comes to us with any random idea, big or small, and our immediate answer is, oh, tell us more, or why, or how you plan to do that, or where is this coming from. It's never a no. And that's my number one tip for parenting, for mentoring, for caregivers. Be curious. Do not, even when they flood you a question that immediately triggers you, take a deep breath and be curious the why behind the question. You will either help them, guide them towards the right path, and you will uncover a layer that needs work. And both are a win. So be curious. What do you think trusting your yes means? And what do you think second guessing your no's means? As a teenager.
Second guessing my
like
no's.
the line that I wrote.
Well, I think trusting your own yes means actually going for it, maybe taking one step at a time towards the yes that you said yes to.
How does that look? Like right now, like let's say do you have a recent yes that you went for? Like how does that look in real life?
Well, I guess working out.
Mm-hmm.
Working out was something that I always wanted to actually be consistent in my life. And I just started like one workout at a time, one good meal at a time, and slowly but surely building that consistency. Even when I felt tired, my mom would push me, and I would not like push, but she would motivate me. And also, having that thought of like, I'm gonna feel better after this, and even, I'm probably gonna say yes to more things in the future, and just having that already helps me build more things in my life.
Yeah. Now, staying on the workout thing, she recently, this year, we had our studios. We got 2 studios that we love. And she started with, Mom, I want to try different studios. And my reaction was, my thought, right? I didn't say this out loud, was like, why? Literally, why? Because we're paying a good amount that we can afford and that we feel comfortable with. They are both lovely studios. They give you what you need. I should be like, no, I'm not going through all that. I'm really busy. I have many things to worry about. But what did I say?
You were like, yeah, let's try it out.
I didn't say it like that. I was like,
but you were curious about it.
Exactly. I was like, that might be a good idea. And then I asked her, what are you looking for? And what did you say? Because that's what I'm trying to get to.
I was saying I was looking for like good instructors, a nice space, a good area, a good workout that actually challenged me, maybe good people, and just overall like they have a good, reputation of being good as a studio.
And that led us to another question, because I kept asking, why was the behind? Did something bother you? Somebody did something to you? And when you're curious, these are the things that as parents, caregivers, and mentors, we're going to realize, we're going to find out, but only if we're curious to open the door. If no, you just close the door, you shut down. You don't know if somebody did something to your kid. You don't know if someone bullied them, if someone hurt them. You don't know what's going on in their mind. Be curious. We ended on, she was looking for more amenities. And I was like, you actually have a good point. Why are we paying this much when other studios are offering more amenities and maybe paying the same? And she started going on a tour.
Yeah.
What's it called? Studio hopping?
Studio hopping.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
Yeah. And guess what? She found one that we are going to switch. We're not going to say if it's yoga or Pilates in case the work... Oops, no. Anyways. What do you think trusting, second guessing your nose looks like in real life?
So when someone tells me no,
your own nose.
Oh, my own nose. Like when
so
I say
second
no to
guessing
something?
your nose. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think it just really depends on what it is. If I'm like saying no to something that truly I feel I should say yes to, that's when I second guess it. I'm like, should I do this? Like I don't know. Like my YouTube or something.
That's a good one, yeah.
Like I say no to it, but like deep down I want to say yes. But it's just factors that I'm like, oh, like what
layers,
this. So that's with me second guessing my no, you know. But if it's something like, I don't know, what is something that I would like 100% never do?
Okay, what about drugs?
Yeah, like partying or something, like big parties. I'll say no to that, but like I won't second guess it because that's not what I want. You know, I don't want to go out and drink and do drugs and go around, but that's just not what I want to do. I don't really second guess that. I feel like when you second guess a no.
How did you get there?
How did I get there? Honestly, I think it's just more of a deeper conversation of like, why are you doing it? Is it because you're kind of distracting yourself from something bigger, or you're trying to distract yourself from home or school, or you have something deep that you feel like you can't get rid of, so you go to that? I did have that, but also I had you guys' influence in me of saying like, you know, it's not really worth it to go out and party and do drugs, and health benefits too, like that's just a given. So I think that's how I got there, you know? And it's different for everybody. It's not the same.
It is different for everybody, but the common factor is conversations. Simple, everyday conversations, leading through example, showing different ways of entertainment, showing what you value and how that fulfills us. And it sounds overwhelming, it sounds like a lot, but it's truly everyday choices as parents that we put that into our kids. And that's how we're here.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to grow. There will be things that will come to us that we'll sit down and talk and have another conversation about the same thing. But that's life. And we're living, we're parenting, we're enjoying each other, we're learning alongside each other.
Yeah.
Now, do you believe teenagers are taught enough how to say no?
I feel like other people and stuff. No.
Why do you say that? Tell me more.
We have this type of thing that we've grown up all our lives about peer pressure and saying no to something. We've heard it in school. I bet every single teen watching this, or even adults, we have heard like, don't say yes to drugs, or like don't fall into peer pressure. But like I feel like it's so much deeper than that. It's like when you're in a position of like all your friends are looking at you and they're all forcing you to do it. It's like much more deeper than that.
And forcing it
is like
it's really peer pressure. Like, oh, you wouldn't do it? Oh, come on, like that, right? That looks like forcing. Yeah. Go ahead.
And if like as parents, I feel like if you don't do enough conversation about those type of things, I feel like your child might fall into it just out of like, you know, because they haven't learned much about it. I feel like that might be a little bit controversial. I don't know.
Do you remember how we started telling you about saying no to drugs?
Yes, I remember. And I probably will use it if this ever happens. But it's like if you're in a bathroom and they offer you drugs, scream stranger danger. And that's what they taught me. And, you know, it was a funny way at first because it's funny when you hear it. But like now it's kind of engraved in my brain. Like maybe I'll just say, oh no, thanks, you know, and I'll leave.
No, I hope you say stranger danger. So they will look at you
and
weird.
And then be weird and never ask me again. You know, sometimes you just got to do that because maybe they'll come back to you and be like, oh, you know, maybe again. Stranger danger.
And again, here we're laughing, but we're touching on a very, very, very good thing that I hope you can see is sometimes as parents, we sit down, we make it a big deal, and we're like, sit down, we're going to talk about drugs. That immediately puts the child on a spot like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do anything wrong, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But again, when we use your life, your daily moments to have silly moments like that, like, okay, my child is approaching middle school. We know middle school is a really, really hard stage for kids where they are highly, highly exposed to drugs. And now that is starting earlier, sadly, but let's stay with middle school. We clearly remember talking as a marriage, Holman and I, how are we going to talk about drugs to Grace? Because earlier we were saying things about drugs. It was always there, but it was age appropriate, right? So when she started middle school, we were like, how can we introduce this in a way that is not like, sit down, we're going to talk about drugs. And I was like, what did we say? Stranger danger, right? Because we sat down, we dedicated that time to talk as a marriage and see how we were going to introduce that. And I started telling her, Grace, if someone offers you a drug, like laughing, right? You say, stranger danger. And they will look at you really weird and they will never offer you again. And after that, she was growing. We were able to more like sit down and have more like deeper and serious conversations about it. And now we have talked about some really, really weird
stuff that's
deep things. But again, it's because we started earlier with curiosity, with lightness, and that allowed the ground where we're standing today.
Yeah.
All right. Now I need you to think deeper on this one, okay?
Okay.
Do you believe teenagers use the phrase, I should be able to decide on my own, to avoid guidance?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Because as teenagers, even me sometimes, I feel like sometimes I just want to be fully independent. You know, I just want to go out there and be like, I can do this on my own, you know? But like truly, I'm sorry to break it to you, but we can't.
When did you realize that?
I realized that when I was in 8th grade, I think. I realized that when I started ending middle school because I was getting, you know, more boyfriends and stuff and, you know, getting, you know, to know more different things. And I was like, yeah, I can do this on my own. Like, yeah, I don't need my mom to give me advice or anything. But when that started crumbling and like when that started going down, I was like, Mom, I need your help.
And why did you come to me?
Because like you're my safe space, you know?
How did I become your safe space?
Because you were open ever since I was like in 6th grade. And it started small and then it grew and grew and then we started building and building and we had hard times, but we would rebuild that, you know? We wouldn't just let it slide under the rug. Even if it comes up again, we'll talk about how we felt at that time. Well, how did we get at this point? And building that, we got to here today, you know? And even now, like I am in some ways independent in my own life, but I still need to go to my mom to ask her things that I've seen online or things that my friends have told me or something that I'm just curious about. Because I can tell her literally anything, I mean, to like the bottom of the earth, like
Again, I have said this before, but this is truly a blessing for me. And the likes, the shares, the subscribe, do it now. It's a plus, yes, it's a goal. I want to reach more families. I want you to have this type of conversations with your kids, this relationship. But me sitting and listening to this and having these conversations and being able to share with you, that is everything. And listening to you, and I don't want to cry, but I want to cry, honestly. Cut right here.
Cut.
Going back to the question, we have been talking about teenagers, right? How us parents need to learn the difference on how to guide them versus how to control them. But I'm also here to speak to the teenagers because it's normal. You're young. You have this energy, this force to want to eat the world, and that's really good. That's wonderful. We need it. But you also need to understand that us parents, most of the time, do have wise advice for you. We've been here longer, we have gone through pain longer, we have learned things, and maybe we struggle to put it into words to approach you and to teach you and to guide you. but I don't want to say it like that, but we do know better. We do know more.
Yeah.
But and that's a blessing. Your young energy as a teenager and our wise years as parents is what makes a family, what builds you and propels you, and what helps us grow as parents as well. But we cannot do our job if you put a wall. And parents, kids, when they come to you, do not put that wall. Be curious, be honest, grow alongside them. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was thinking, because you've always talked about like putting the wall, you know, like my mom has always told me, like, you know, I can't help you if you put the wall and don't tell me anything. And it took me a little bit to learn about that, especially with deeper conversations and more conversations that I might feel uncomfortable to talk about. But like knowing that my mom literally will listen to me about anything has really, really helped me break that wall, because I was in that wall once, and now we're here. So, and I'm still learning.
And we will continue to learn. That wall was broken by what? Broken? Is that what you said?
Like broke, or wait, that wall was broke by.
Yeah, by curiosity, by remembering that I'm not only teaching her to obey me, to understand what I'm saying, but I'm building a human being that will go in the world and build her own life. So how do we make sure we are raising kids that learn how to obey guidance, but also to trust their yes and their no's, and to move forward, build their life? Now that takes me to a lot of this conversation, I think, has to do with how teenagers feel about disappointing adults.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the yes and no's that they avoid, I think, has to do with disappointing us. So how do you think disappointing an adult has an impact on your yes or your no's? And I think this is an area you might be struggling still with. So
yeah, I mean, you know, I have certain things that like I struggle with, and when I kind of necessarily not do it or kind of fail to do that, I don't like talking to my parents about it, just because I feel this disappointment in my thing, and I feel like they will be disappointed, you know. But and that's something that I'm still working on, you know. I feel like that's just normal in general.
But are we disappointed?
No, and that's what they always tell me. You know, they literally always tell me, they're like, "I'm not disappointing you. We just want more for you," you know? And that helps. But just me being a teenager and my own emotions, you know, it's harder for me to understand that. But I know as I keep growing, and even now, like I will learn to talk about things that I'm failing or struggling with and not feel disappointed to talk about it. And I feel like another thing is academic disappointment. A lot of teenagers struggle with this, because maybe they might come from like a broken family that they want to improve in their academics, and they want to be the best for their parents, and their parents put like pressure on them to be good and to not fail. And parents have like that, well, not parents, the teens have this type of like pressure, like I need to do good, and if I get a C, I can't tell, because they will be so disappointed, you know. But my mom told me, like, even if you get a C in the math class, if you tried your best, then you know that then you're fine, you know, because you tried your best, you tried everything in your power, and we're not going to be disappointed, because if you tried, then of course, you know, that's just you.
Two things. One is mostly for parents, honestly, but we need to remember that our teenagers are still growing. It sounds obvious, but we tend to forget. We're like, isn't that obvious? We have talked about this before. But there are literally things in their brain that are still developing, that needs repetition, that needs consistency, that yes, you talk about that, but they need a reminder. They need a frame in a different way. And we cannot give up. We need to remember that. Number two, as parents, it's really hard. Trust, I've been there, done that. It's really hard, but it is possible. We need to move away from results, and we need to start measuring efforts. Now, when I say move away from results, I don't want you to think, oh, eliminate all goals, ambitions. No, we're going to get there. But we got to start measuring and celebrating the effort. When she says, oh, she got a C, but I tried my best, it goes deeper than that. When I tell her, okay, you got a C, fine, tell me, how was it? What did you do? Did you ask for help? Did you send emails? Did you ask for tutoring? Did you ask your team classmates for help. What did you learn? How did you improve? What's something that you didn't learn some before? Did you understand it now? Even though you got a C, that's all a win. Because again, if we're celebrating just the grade, but the child cheated through it, used AI, paid someone to do their homework, what's the point? What are we actually teaching our kids? So we need to learn to celebrate the journey, celebrate the progress, the effort, and move away from, congrats, yay, I'm so proud of you, you got an A, and move towards, congrats, I'm so proud of your consistency. I'm so proud of you showing up every day on that table to practice your math. I'm so proud of so and so and so. Action, right? Not just the result.
Yeah.
And when the result comes, make a big deal. Make a big deal. As always, every video with her turns out to be really long.
Yeah.
But we love to talk to each other, to share what we believe, what we think might work for you. But I want to start finishing the video by turning it back to the parents. A lot of us are control freaks, not because we're mean or because we think we know it all, but just really that's how we were raised. We were raised by control freaks. We were raised by people who were also raised by people that were learning, people that didn't know better, people that try. And I say try because some of us really were raised by parents that said that try, but they know they could have done better. But that's another conversation. I'm sorry. I always say I'm sorry. We all went through that, but it's also our responsibility and a gift now to change the future generations. We cannot keep passing what we learned. We must realize what we learned, how that impacted us, how that served us or didn't serve us, and change it, because we live in an era that we can actually do that with intention, with God, with consistency and faith. So with that in mind, I want to leave you with a couple questions. What does freedom looks like to you in your family with your kids? And if you tend to answer those and you start seeing that you're more of a control freak, it's okay. The first step is to be aware of what we're doing, and then we start working for them. What do you think freedom looks for teenagers? Actual freedom, beneficial freedom.
That we just talk to our parents about everything. We don't have much pressure on us. Like, yeah, we have goals and things that we want to do, but like we know that our parents are right beside us supporting us. We don't have any academic future pressure in general because our parents told us that we need to do good. We just like going to school and like we like learning. You can tell your parents anything. I feel like those are the main four things, and they're smaller things, but it all leads back to that.
I think one of the hardest things for parents is learning to give our teenagers freedom while they're still learning to handle it. Freedom includes consequences. Freedom includes saying yes to the things they want. Freedom includes guidance. So when I say we can't be control freaks, I don't mean we're not going to be present. We're going to be intentionally present with how we do, what we say, how we act. Now, I promise, final question. If you could tell a parent one thing about giving their teenager more independence, what would you say? What's one thing that you could tell a parent? If you do this about independence, your teen, or this could happen.
I was gonna say your thing and say to be more curious.
Okay.
Because that's a big thing when you think about it. Like, you truly have to be curious and open to the things they say, even if it sounds like I don't want to do that as a parent. But like, your teen said that because they feel it in their heart, or they just have been thinking about it and they finally got the courage to go and talk to you about it. So just take it from all the things my mom said, but like truly be curious about it. Be curious about the things that they like and things that they want to do.
And what would you say to a teenager who wants more independence? Who wants freedom? What would you tell them?
For teenagers, I would say, I know this is cliche, but to genuinely like talk to your parents, even if it's just one sentence or just one thing at a time, like slowly start building a relationship with your parents. And I know there's also a lot of teens out there that don't really have the best relationship with their parents, or the parents are not really that nice. But I would just say to keep showing up, keep trying your best, keep doing your best in what you do and whatever you have going on. Pray about it. I pray about it. And just to keep going, keep showing the love and the person who you are, you know?
To keep taking deep breaths and remembering that you're learning, that you're young, and that if you do have a safe space, to use it, to come to your parents, your mentors, your caregivers. The important thing here is that you as a teenager learn to carry what you have been taught, to learn to trust your yes and your no's, because one day your parent won't be next to you. They might not even be in this world. But again, if we as parents has done our job of raising a human being, not a person that just obeys you, we'll be better than okay. We'll be thriving, not just surviving. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We didn't read the Cafecito questions, but if you do get the book, there's 3 for parents, 3 for teenagers. My goal is that you sit down at the table with your family and you go through them. My goal is that we build a life where our teenagers actually want to invite us into their life, build the relationships that allow us to have that. Thank you all.
Thank you.